Hello everyone. This video is a continuation of our discussion on creating complex data apps within Snappy using advanced lists. In our previous video, we discussed in detail the step-by-step instructions on how to create your data sources and one-to-many relationships. In this video, we're going to continue that discussion with one-to-one relationships. One line item on one spreadsheet relates to only one line item on the other spreadsheet. So the first thing I'm going to do is go back into my data sources. So inside my data sources here, you see I have the three spreadsheets that we've been working with previously. There are a couple of things I need to do here in my data source to take the next step with my realtor information. I'm going to need to upload my realtor spreadsheet and add it as a new data source. I'm also going to need to change my district info a little bit, and that is because I'm actually going to add another field to my district spreadsheet because I want to tie that to my realtor info spreadsheet. So I'm going to click on that spreadsheet and download the data. This allows me to actually download the most current spreadsheet information that is in there, and all I'm going to do here is add another ID field, and I'm going to call it ID2. It happens that my numbers are exactly the same. The difference here is that because this is ID field and this is ID field 2, when I create the relationships between my two spreadsheets, even though these numbers are the same, the platform will be able to determine that this field with the number 1 relates to one relationship, and this field with the number 1 relates to a different relationship. So I'm just going to save that. I'm going to re-upload the information. Now in this case, because I'm actually adding new fields to my spreadsheet, I'm going to hit Upload Data. If all I were doing was adding more rows of information to the existing columns that I had, I could simply hit Append Data. But because I am actually adding new columns or fields to my spreadsheet, I need to hit Upload Data and re-upload the full spreadsheet again. So I'm going to hit Upload Data and pull my district spreadsheet. And now you can see I have my spreadsheet exactly as it was before, but with one new field, my ID2 field. And the important thing to remember about the column types here is that typically a column field that has numbers in it is identified as a numeric field in the Snappy platform. With relationships, you need to change these fields to text. So once I've done this, I hit Save. Now the next thing I'm going to do is upload my new spreadsheet, my realtor info, and create a data source. So I'm just going to hit Add. I'm going to upload my new spreadsheet, and you can see it was uploaded successfully. This is a very small spreadsheet. I just have the name of the realty company, a phone number, and that ID2 field, which is the unique identifier that's going to tie to my ID2 field in my district info data source. I want to be sure to rename my sheet. And I do also need to be sure, as I did with the district info sheet, that I change the ID field to text. Once you've done that, hit Save. And now I have my new data source right here, my realtor info. And then step number 2 is creating those relationships for my data sources. So again, my district in this case is going to be my primary or parent data source. So I'm going to click Manage Relationships. In this case, I am going to have a one-to-one relationship. My related data source, again, is what I am marrying to. So it is going to be my realtor info. And my ID field is realtor. You can see it populated some info automatically for me. The label field is correct. I only have 2 fields to choose from again because it was a small spreadsheet. My ID field should always contain the ID. And then my current fields is the sheet that I am marrying from. So it is my district sheet that I did want to tie to. so I don't need to change that. And my ID field again in this case is ID2. These two fields should always match when you're creating a relationship. And then you hit add. Now we can see that that one-to-one relationship on the parent side exists right here in my district info data source. Now I'm going to close out of here. I'm going to hit save. And then I am going to go in and check that the relationship does exist in my realtor info. So I go into manage relationships and I can see there is a parent-child relationship here where the parent is my district spreadsheet and all of the information for my ID fields and my label fields is exactly how I had set it up. So now my relationship has been successfully created. I'm going to close out of here. And now I'm going to go in and make the changes to my apartments advanced list. Now, just because we used this whole advanced list before and created that detailed level of lists inside of lists, I don't have to do that. I could have another whole tab or another whole button that sat someplace else and just had to do with my districts and my realtors. In this case, though, I do want to keep all of that information together. So I'm going to go back into that advanced list that we created. And where I want to show the information about my realtors is on that detail level of my first advanced list. So when my user goes into my advanced list and sees my different districts, like the Bronx, Manhattan, and Brooklyn, if they pick a district, they then see information right here in the detail view as we had discussed before. They see a photo of the district, some information about it, and then another advanced list where they can choose the property type that they're interested in. Right here, I would like to list the realtor that is associated with a particular district and their phone number. So I'm going to drop my text button down here, and I'm going to just use this information as a placeholder as we had discussed before. I'm going to leave all of this information the same, and I'm going to change my color. I'm also going to change this from constant to data source because I wanted to actually pull information from a data field. Now you can see here it shows me the related one-to-one fields that I have available. And so I'm going to click Realtor, click OK, and now you can see that I have a field here that is going to be tied specifically to the name of the realtor who associates with this property. I also want to add one-touch calling features so that if my user just wants to go right to the property realtor for this district, call them and get more information about the properties they have available, they can use the one-touch button. So I simply pull the call button over. I don't need to change this unless I was going to put in a phone number that I wanted to be consistent throughout the entire list and not just related to each realtor in my data source. Because I want each one of these specific realtors to have a call button associated with them, I'm going to again change this to data source, and then I'm going to go in and choose the phone number field and click OK. Now, once I save my app, the one-touch calling feature has been enabled. Just like with the call button, depending on the information you have included in your spreadsheets, for example, email or website, you would be able to follow the same process of dragging the email button over or the web button or any other functionality for information that's included in your spreadsheets into the various detail views of your advanced lists and tie the information in those lists together with those elements or buttons based on the relationships that you have created. And that is all there is to creating one-to-one relationships in advanced lists within your mobile app.